Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video. Lulu is reunited with her son Rocco. Lulu has an unexpected reunion with Spoiler, and Ava's fate is in the jury's hands. Today on General Hospital, James alerts Maxie to a stranger in their home. Brooklyn and Chase work at making a baby, and Lucky warns Cyrus to stay away from his sister. Please note that if you purchase something by clicking on a link within this story, we may receive a small commission of the sale. General Hospital spoilers December 2 to 6. In Maxie's bathroom, a panicked Sasha tells Maxie she doesn't think she can do this. Maxie says she has a support system, but in the end, she needs to do what is best for her. Lulu walks in the front door and looks around, puzzled by the changes in the living room. James comes out with a plate of cookies and asks who she is. She asks who he is and why he is in her house. James states that this is his house. Lulu insists it is her house. Suddenly, James begins yelling, "Mom! Stranger danger!" Maxie comes running with a bat, and Sasha is behind her. Maxie can't believe James joked about stranger danger and wonders why he is out of bed and has cookies. James insists a lady was in the house. Maxie tells him the door is locked, but then finds out it's unlocked. He swears a lady was here. Maxie heads outside and finds the spare key is missing from under a fake rock. Sasha decides to leave to let Maxie handle James. As she's leaving, Spinelli returns home and learns James claimed there was a strange lady in the house. James swears it is true. Spinelli thinks he has a way to solve this mystery. He installed a camera at the front door, and he can access the footage on his phone. Indeed, they find a woman on the recording letting herself in, but they can't see her face due to her hoodie. Maxie apologizes to James and asks him to describe this woman. James says she had blonde hair like her. Spinelli suggests they take him to the PCPD to give them a description. James is excited and wants to help crack the case. Maxie tells her son to sit on the couch while they figure this out. He thumbs through a photo album on the table and suddenly declares, "This is her, the woman who was in our house." Maxie and Spinelli see it's a photo of Lulu. At Turning Woods, Liz and Lucky can't believe the staff let Cyrus have access to Lulu. The manager says Cyrus is family, and he thought he had the ability to make decisions about Lulu. Lucky blurts out, "Like hell he does." Lucky demands to see the security footage so they can find out what happened to her sister. The manager says he will contact security, but they may not have the footage until the morning, as protocols need to be followed. Lucky calls him incompetent and storms out. Cyrus is working at the Port Charles Grill when he gets a call from an orderly from Turning Woods. He says Lucky is here and is upset as Lulu is missing. Lucky later arrives, confronts Cyrus, and asks where his sister is. Cyrus assumes she is at Turning Woods. Lucky says she isn't, but he knows Cyrus has been there and that he has no right to spend time with Lulu. Cyrus claims he's the only one in the family who has been there for Lulu lately, with Laura running the city and taking care of Ace, and Lucky rarely on the continent. Lucky says he's made it clear to the staff at Turning Point that Cyrus is not welcome and he is not family. Cyrus insists that Lulu needs him, and Lucky is not one to talk to him about family given he's been gone for a decade. Cyrus tells Lucky to spend more than a month with his own child, and then they can talk about family. Liz steps in, and the men part ways. Lucky then gets a message from Turning Woods with the security footage, and they watch and learn Lulu is awake and fled the facility. In the Quartermain living room, Chase asks Olivia, Gio, and Lois if anyone's seen Brooklyn. Brooklyn rushes in and tells Chase they have to finish that movie and drags him off. The others get a laugh as they know what's going on. More. Ryan's Hope actress dead at 98. Up in their bedroom, Brooklyn and Chase rip one another's clothes off and fall onto their bed. They make love, and Brooklyn tells him that she never wants them to feel like making a baby is work. He understands. She has another mission for him should he accept it, and they go at it again. Afterward, Brooklyn jokes that didn't feel like a chore. Chase talks about everything he's excited about. Birthdays, Christmas, all the firsts. Back in the living room, Gio heads off to practice, and Olivia jokes with Lois that she's going to be a Nona soon. Lois doesn't want to jinx things by putting the stroller before the baby. Olivia is sure Brooklyn will make her the second proudest Nona in the room. Lulu finds Gio down by the boathouse practicing the national anthem. She asks who he is, and Gio explains he is Quartermain adjacent, and his Aunt Lois brought him here. Lulu is confused as Lois lives in Bensonhurst. He says they both did, and asks who she is. Lulu decides to go as she has had her fill of stranger danger for the evening. Lulu heads into the front door of the Quartermain mansion and takes in all the changes as she walks into the living room. Suddenly, Rocco appears and says, "Mom?" Lulu is stunned to see her son. More. Co-stars react to Chad Duell leaving General Hospital. In court, Rick asks Christina if protecting her father was more important than protecting Molly's baby. He yells that her actions caused Irene Davis Ashford's death. Alexis stands up and tells Rick, "That's enough. Leave her alone." The judge calls order and threatens to hold Alexis in contempt. Alexis says Rick should be held in contempt for badgering a witness. The judge calls a recess and orders Alexis out. Sonny escorts her out. Rick says he has no more questions for Christina and she can step down. Don comforts Christina, who thinks she blew it. Danny says she told the truth, and juries respond to that. Meanwhile, Molly tells TJ if Christina's testimony gets Ava acquitted, then she'll never forgive herself. Molly approaches Christina and says she's sorry, and Mom can take her home. Christina insists she isn't going anywhere. Sonny drags Alexis out, and she's a mess. She was afraid of this and fears that thanks to Rick, Christina is going to blame herself for her daughter's death. Sonny offers to take her home, but she says he needs to go back in there and be with Christina. When court is back in session, Rick calls Natalia to the stand. He questions her about her recent car accident and plays the 911 recording of the call she made, indicating Christina was the other person involved in the accident. He questions her about Christina's emotional state, and Natalia says she was shaken from the accident. Rick asks who caused the accident, and Natalia claims she did, surprising Sonny and Christina. Natalia explains she was distracted by a text from her daughter, who she's been estranged from. She looked down at it and swerved into the other lane. She says they didn't bring the police or insurance into the matter, and they solved things between them. Rick has no further questions, and Natalia is allowed to step down. Rick calls Molly to the stand next. Rick questions her about being with Christina when she received the subpoena from Ava. Molly says Christina was set on not testifying as she was afraid that she'd incriminate her father. Rick asks what she counseled Christina to do, and Molly says Christina wanted to talk to Ava, and she told her not to. Rick asks if she is saying Christina, angry, sought out Ava to protect her father. Molly says that is correct, and Rick has no further questions. Ava is then called to the stand. She says Christina was distraught when she arrived at her suite that day. Ava recounts, with prompting from Rick, that Christina was angry and demanded she drop her subpoena. Ava explains Christina threatened to bring up alleged accusations made against her in the past. Rick asks if she put her hands on Christina. Ava admits she did, as Christina came at her, so she put her hand on her shoulder. That's when Christina pulled away and back, and she tripped and crashed through the window. She notes Christina tripped over a duffel bag of a man she was involved with, and she didn't want him to be drawn into trouble, so she replaced it with shoes. Rick asks if she had intent on harming Christina or her child. Ava sobs that she'd never hurt a child, and she'd never wish losing a child on anyone having gone through it herself. Rick asks if she has any regrets about that day. Ava regrets a baby lost her life when she didn't have to, and no mother deserves to experience that. Rick says he has no further questions. Christina stares at Ava with cold eyes. Rick and the AVA give their closing arguments. The ADA says Ava admitted to struggling with Christina. She staged the crime scene. She lied about closing the curtains, moving the bag, and lied about being involved with an FBI agent. She says they must find Ava guilty of manslaughter and the death of the baby. Rick argues this was a tragedy, and when tragedies happen, it's natural to want to blame someone. Rick says sometimes no one is at fault. He argues that Christina visited Ava while angry, and both Christina and Ava argued. During the argument, Christina tripped over a piece of luggage and went through the window. He says it was horrible and tragic, but not a crime. He assumes both parties have wondered what if they'd done things differently, and that's why it's a tragedy. Random decisions caused the death of a child, and it would be even more tragic to wrongfully place the blame. He tells them this was an accident and a tragedy, and everyone involved needs to move on and heal.